Hi folks, Olga Yarovsky here. I overheard a conversation at a conference where one of the analytics companies was talking to a CPG marketer, sharing with them their methodology, and this is how they do analytics, post-promotional analytics. And the person from that CPG company said, you know what, it's all great, but I don't have good data. I don't trust my own data. It's garbage. And as you know, garbage in, garbage out. And I've heard that repeated over and over again. Even if you don't know what you're going to do with the data yet, even if you haven't figured out what your marketing mix process or vendor or methodology or required input fields are, you still have to capture data, because they will thank you when you finally land on a partner or you finally land on a methodology. This data has to be ready for them to go fast. Otherwise, you'll have to wait another 6 months to gather enough data for them to kick off the analytics process. So capturing data systematically. If you don't have a system like Shoperations, start doing this in Excel, but mandate that everybody does it in the same way, not just one person on the team. Don't rely on one person to be the data keeper. Make it a job for everybody on the team to capture what the plans are and what the actual execution is, very, very granularly, down to the, I don't think you need to go to the SKU level, but down to the product level within the brand. It's not enough to just say we promoted a brand. There's lots of different product lines within the brand sometimes, so be specific about what you promoted. Document your coupon offers, document your dates, start and end dates of the tactics that are in store or live on in the digital space. Document which retail customers were exposed to it or which shoppers were targeted. Document the tactics themselves, because you may invest $1 million in a campaign to drive trial for the new product, but under that campaign that lasted 6 months, you could have had multiple pulse periods, you could have had multiple tactics, both digital and traditional. It's very important to be as granular as possible. And it may seem like a lot of work, but that work already happens. Your team's already planning that sort of work on their own offline trackers. The goal here is to figure out the most user-friendly, the most logical, and the most reasonable way to get your team to plan and report the same way. It's very important that you create a standard list of drop-downs, the nomenclatures, the hierarchies. You remove all of the friction when it comes to recording information. You remove guesswork. You remove people's cognitive load of like, how do I spell this brand? And do I break this into these sub-brands, or do I need to lump them bigger? Just give them the work, the building blocks of their plans ahead of time, and it may require you some work ahead of time. So thinking about data before you spend any money is a new approach. Marketers typically start thinking about data after the money is spent, trying to look back. So try to think about what data you will need when you do your analysis, when you do your post-promotional recaps, and start collecting that data as soon as possible. Also capture where money is coming from, because some of the money comes from trade, some of the money comes from shopper marketing bucket, some of them comes from brand specific funds or e-commerce bucket. It's important to understand that, because it will also help you make sure you don't double count, because those departments that fund your programs, they may be also looking at your investment and maybe claiming lift or credit for what you do. So it's important to tease it out and have a holistic view of where money's coming from and where it's being spent, what brands are promoted, what tactics are being used, what are the specific dates, and what are the shopper incentives that you're putting against them. So it's a lot of data, but it's doable. It just requires deliberate conversations about data and data structure. So you may need help from your data science team if you have such team in your company. Start talking to them about your needs for analytics, and they'll tell you about their needs for data. And you can come up with a plan, a proposal that will be not too taxing for your team and very insightful when it comes time to measurement. I hope you found these suggestions very helpful. You can go to blog.shoperations.com to find important links and useful information about this topic. Thank you.